All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a few principles surrounding health, habit, spirituality, even. And these are some basic principles that I use to help clients, individuals, pastors, leaders, whatever walk of life they find themselves in, to start to establish some healthy rhythms and habits. Now, understand that all of this is on a spectrum. Everyone is on this timeline of life and we're moving in the same direction, but we're not always in the same places. We're not always starting in the same spots, but we all are going to end in the same place. So our habits are how much health we have, how healthy we are. It's all variable, okay? But these are some basic principles that we use to help either start habits, concrete habits in, or simply just start helping people to create a framework around it. And hopefully it's helpful to you. If you're watching this on YouTube, social media, please like, share. If you're listening to this or watching it in a podcast, please like and share, as it helps us to get our content in front of more people. And ultimately the goal is to help leaders and just people, individuals, or people in general, to discover their health, thrive, and ultimately do the thing that they feel called to do longer. So, if you don't know, my name is Adam. I'm a functional nutritionist, personal trainer. I've been a pastor for many years. I've worked in the nonprofit world and church world for a long time. So, my heart is to really help pastors, leaders, church staff members, those kind of people who give their lives to help others, to maximize their health so they can continue to do what they feel like God's called them to do for a long time. So, what are some of these principles? When it comes to thinking about health, creating a strategy, creating a process around this, rule one is keep it simple, keep it sustainable. We love extremities as a culture, especially in the American culture. We highlight the hero, we highlight the person, the elite athlete, we highlight the person who is always doing the toughest, hardest thing, and we love guys like David Goggins who somehow seem immortal. We love the military mindset, or the guy who's just rise and grind kind of mindset, and that can work for some people, but the average person does not function that way. And the average person doesn't get success that way. We get success through simple, sustainable processes. Any strategy you choose for your health, any way that you choose to start investing in your health, it must be simple enough to continue it, and it must be sustainable enough for you to be able to do it when times get tough. All right? It has to be manageable and repeatable. So if you're choosing a strategy, let's say to start exercising, and it's get up at 4 a.m., go exercise for 2 hours, and then go to work all day, that might work for a week. But if that is not your natural rhythm, then that's going to be tough to sustain. If your diet that you're trying to lose weight on is extreme, like I decided to go carnivore, but I was eating like a normal American last week, that might be too extreme, not manageable. So maybe it's, hey, cut the junk food out for a little bit. Maybe start there. So whatever choices we make, first they need to be simple choices, and then they need to be sustainable. The second one is, and this rule applies to everything in life. All these rules apply, okay, to any type of goal you may set for yourself, whether it be attaining, like getting a goal to a certain destination, or setting strategies and habits that you will continue through the majority of your life. Simple and sustainable is number one. Consistency above all else is number two. Consistency above all else, truly, like in anything that I've ever done, it's never who does it best. It's always who is left, because everyone quits. It's the same thing when it comes to getting to the weight you think you need to be at, or in order to be healthy, or starting a new business, or pursuing a black belt in a specific martial arts, or learning to write a book, starting a blog, starting your own website, starting your own business. It's not who does it best, it's who's left at the end. That's what it is. It truly is. Consistency is truly the only secret to success, and there's no way to monetize it. There's no way for you to buy it. All you can do is grit your teeth, wake up each day, put your head down, and keep trying to be consistent. Consistency above everything else, okay? And remember, if it's simple and sustainable, consistency should not be an issue, all right? So third one is progress must be measured in a variety of ways, not just one way. Okay, so I deal a lot with this with clients who want to lose weight, and this is a big thing for ladies, but some guys do it too. They need to see a specific number on the scale. That's the only way they can measure their success, because they have fixated success with a number. They have entangled those two things together. Success cannot happen unless they see a specific number on the scale. Unfortunately, having one parameter of measurement is not a good way to do things, okay? Because it's not enough data, and it doesn't take into account other variables. So when you measure your success, the scale should be one. The measurements around your problem areas, let's say your midsection or your hips, should be taken into account. If we're talking about health now, if you need to lose weight, the scale's not the best way to do that. Measurements are a great way to do that. Mental clarity. How well do you feel? That's a good sign that things are going well. If what you're trying to do or how you're measuring your success is simply just one variable, then that's not a great thing, okay? But when it comes to like health and fitness, scale is good. Measurements are great. They help determine, they give us data points to help make decisions. Mental clarity is another good one. Lets you know if you're on the right track. Sleep quality. Are you sleeping well? If you're sleeping worse, chances are maybe you're choosing a strategy that's not great. Your general mood. If you're in a worse mood because of the diet you've chosen, chances are it's not going to be sustainable, because your family or your friends are not going to want to be around you, and you're not going to want to be around you either. Another one is how well your clothes fit. Do your clothes fit better? I have plenty of clients I've had many clients come to me and they're like, I haven't lost any weight, but I'll say, but how many pairs of pants have you had to buy? And they're like, well, I had to buy new pants the other day. Okay, so the scale is not saying you've progressed, but having to buy new clothes does say you've progressed, okay? So we're measuring in a variety of ways so that we don't create this negative feedback loop. If we have one measurement, like let's say the scale, it's a negative feedback loop. Every day you get on the scale and you don't see the number you want to see, you start your day off with a negative input. You don't need that, okay? We need positive feedback loops so that we can continue to get wins and then continue to create momentum, okay? When it comes to health, longevity, number 4 is there are no shortcuts or biohacks. Embrace the difficult work of changing your life. You have your entire life to do it, okay? It doesn't need to be done tomorrow. It doesn't need to be done yesterday, unless maybe you're morbidly obese and you have some major health risks. Then there is pressure to expedite this process. But if you're like the average person who has maybe some health issues, you're on track to have health issues as you get older, you don't need to change tomorrow. You just need to start changing today, okay? So embrace the process. Biohacks, shortcuts, these are just ways to lessen the amount of responsibility you feel. That's it. Responsibility equals pressure. It feels like pressure. And none of us like pressure, okay? So when you find people who all they want is a biohack and all they want is some vitamin that can make them lose weight or some pill that can make them lose weight, all that screams is I refuse to take responsibility for my actions. That's it. And I refuse to embrace the hard uphill battle of changing my own life. That's what that means. That's why it sells. That's why there's so many gurus out there, I won't name them, who can sell you butter in your coffee. And somehow that's a hack. And this guy's going to supposedly live till he's 180, but he looks horrible for a 45-year-old. So, I mean, don't fall for the biohack. Don't fall for the shortcut. There is no shortcut, okay? There is only marketing. That's what they have, okay? Number 5, there is no dogma. There is no dogma. So what that means is none of this is religious. Getting healthy, getting strong is not religious. It's not political. You shouldn't be online insulting people for whatever they choose to do to get healthy. I get insulted by specific groups of people regularly, and never on the merits of the information that I'm sharing, but always on it's always on the merits of the choices I'm making. They deem my choices to be negative. So in their religion, they deem me as an evil threat, right? None of this is religious. So stay out of those camps, okay? Any strategy you choose can work if you do. But if we make this a religious or a political ideology to get healthy, all you do is insult other people, and you lessen your ability to adapt as life changes, right? If you paint yourself in a corner with your ideologies and the way you choose to eat, and how you align your eating with your purpose in life, I guess, which is what some people do. They paint themselves into a corner when maybe their health fails or they run into an issue, and they have to backtrack on all that, and then they have to apologize, which they never do, to all those people they insulted online. Okay? So there's no dogma here. Be flexible. Be adaptable, because life changes and situations change. Okay? Number 6, movement and training are just tools. They're not miracles. They're tools. You use the tool for the job. Okay? Like, I've got people who are like, you got to do CrossFit. I've got people who are like, no, you need to do running. Other people are like, swimming is the only way. Other people are like, you must do jujitsu. Other people like MMA. Like, everybody has their camp, but everything works if you do. Remember, all these strategies are just tools. So you find the one that works for you right now, and you do that one. I have lifted weights in a bodybuilding way for many years. I've done CrossFit. I've done triathlon. I've done ultra marathoning. I've done a lot, okay? And they all worked in the season that I was in. The ones that have stuck are just lifting weights. I'm in a season right now where I'm focusing more on martial arts, but I still lift weights, okay? So why do I say that? Because the seasons change, and sometimes the tools need to change to adapt to that season. It doesn't matter. And we use the tool to adjust our results. Like, if you want to have bigger muscles, running's not going to get you there. So you adjust the tool for the specific result you want. If you want to be more flexible, doing, throwing the ball with your kid in the yard and going for walks is not going to do it. Maybe taking a yoga class would do it, okay? If you want to have really nice glutes, if you're a lady and you want to look great in your bathing suit, well, probably Orange Theory might not do that. You might need to do something specific to focus on those areas, like bodybuilding, okay? So movement, exercise, training, they're just tools, all right? There are no miracles. There's no secret strategy out there. There's no secret workout plan for whoever and whatever situation. There's just you doing work. That's it, okay? Number 7, be an adult. When it comes to changing your life, when it comes to finding health, when it comes to changing your lifestyle and your habits, there's a level of just adulting that has to happen. I get it. Pizza is always better than vegetables. Pizza with vegetables is a compromise, okay? But I've not found anyone who refuses to embrace their responsibilities to invest in their own health who refuses to do that and acts like a child, but I need to eat my Swedish fish. I must have this. I must have that. Anyone who thinks that way never reaches their goals. People who embrace their responsibilities usually reach their goals. Okay? Be an adult. Eat your vegetables. Okay? Don't eat pizza every night. Say no to a dessert here and there. It's okay. It's okay. You're not going to die. I know the marketing has taught you that you will die, but it's not true. You're fine. Most Americans have enough body fat on their body to not eat for about 30 days, and they'll be just fine. If you just drink, get enough salt, potassium, magnesium, things like that, you'll live just fine. Okay? So you're not going to die. All right? So be an adult. Do what needs to be done to get to where you want to be. But remember, make it simple and sustainable. Be consistent above all things. Progress is measured in a variety of ways, not just one. There are no shortcuts. You're not going to find a pill that will take away your hunger. There is a new drug out called Ozempic or semaglutide, which is a appetite suppressant. It seems to work really well for some people, but once you start taking it, it's a lifetime thing. It's a lifetime thing. And it doesn't take away your responsibility to lift weights and exercise and still show restraint and eat like an adult. It just makes you not want to eat so much. That's all it does. It doesn't take away all of the human failings that we run into when it comes to changing our lives. There's a big issue there's not a big issue. I would say I'm noticing that many of us, we fail to realize that life is never static. We can't just drift along and expect things to go the way we want. We can't just disengage with life and expect the good to come. We have to constantly be engaged and moving towards the direction we want to see or direction we want to go or the results I want to see. I don't get to just lay on the couch and Netflix and stream and binge and expect that I'm going to be in great shape or that I'm going to have the health I want or that I'm going to be the example as a dad or a husband that I need to be. I'm always having to push forward. It is responsibility. It is adulting. Life is not static. We don't put it on cruise. So we're either going backwards or forward. We're not sitting still. Okay? So just embrace it, man. Embrace it. And probably the number one thing besides consistency is this 8th point. There's no good time to quit. It's never too early to start. It's always too early to quit. Okay? There's a scripture in Proverbs 24:16 through 18, and this scripture is talking about kind of how we judge others and how we deal with ourselves when it comes to issues and trouble. In the NIV it says, "For though the righteous," so a righteous man or woman, "though they fall 7 times, they rise again." They always get up. It says, "But the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." What that really is saying there is the righteous, the one who pursues what is right, the one who is pursuing the best in their life, will take the hits and keep moving forward. They're not going to lay down. But those that are making excuses or feeble or feeling sorry for themselves or whatever, they'll take the hit and lay down and stay down. But then it says, "Do not gloat when your enemy falls. When they stumble, do not let your heart rejoice, or the Lord may see and disapprove." Okay, so what does that mean? I'm going to take my hits and I'm going to keep moving forward. If I see someone else take a hit, I'm not going to be like, pfft. I'm not going to gloat. I'm going to embrace, I'm going to show grace and mercy towards others, because why? I reap what I sow. I want to reap mercy, because there's going to be a time when I fall and I need somebody there to maybe help me get back up. So there's never a good time to quit. and there's never a good time to judge others for quitting. So I love that scripture because it's just a persistence. There's this persistence that is required in just being a human and being a person on this planet. There is a persistence, and there is this need to keep moving forward. And even when you fall, you get back up. When somebody else falls, you don't gloat over it. You help them up, or you encourage them to get up. If you gloat, or if you say you deserve that, or you judge them, the Lord may see that and disapprove of it. And I'm not asking for God to disapprove of me. All right. So not only am I embracing it for myself, but I'm helping others embrace it as well. Okay. So hopefully these points are helping. But remember, like in the scripture in Ecclesiastes, it says there's a time for love, there's a time for hate, there's a time for war, blah, 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 blah. There's a time of peace. And nowhere in that list does it talk about the time to quit. If you believe that your life is valuable, if you believe that you have a purpose in this life, if you believe that the thing that you have put your hand to is important, you should at least take the time to invest in it and invest in your health to make sure that you are here to do that thing well. If you can't even invest in your own health to continue to live your life well, what does that say about your view of yourself? What does that say about your view of what God has called you to do? I get really nervous when I see pastors and leaders get on stage and they're telling us how to be an example in our finances, in our faith, in our giving, but they look sloppy. They are not an example of health. They are literally the opposite of health. They are an example of what not to do. Now, does that mean you need to be shredded and ripped? No, that's not even necessarily healthy and highly determined by genetics. But you should be an example of someone who's moving forward. You should be an example of someone who's on the path and doesn't, when they fall, they don't quit. You should be an example of someone who helps others get up along that path and doesn't judge. You should be an example of progress. Moving forward, you should be an example. I should be an example of what it means to be an adult and act like an adult. Okay? So hopefully that encourages you. Your health is worth it. Your life is worth it. And I promise you, if you continue to invest in it, it's going to pay dividends in the long run. Talk soon.